Man, it's always a pain. Hope y'all can hear me. I'm gonna check real quick to make sure. Check the sound. Yeah. All right. Good. Man, I had to like quit stuff and start stuff again. So make sure I've got decent light without getting in the way of the camera here. Am I? Oh, seriously? Is this not even? I don't even have freaking video. Okay, let's see. Hopefully this is working. It's working out. Good Lord. Okay. So like setting this thing up and then realizing that the camera's not even uh, working. I just want to make sure I'm actually in the thing. Yeah, I'm live. Wow, what a mess. This keeps up. I am going to end up dropping money on a computer I probably can't afford, but all right. So who knows anything about this? Only the shadow knows. So this is the first page of a comic that I have been wanting to do for some time. And I can't tell you the whole story. Of course, I want to save something for the readers. And so what it is this perspective shot. Now, I honestly, I know I had posted this on Twitter before, but I actually had some misgivings about continuing with this page because there were some things about it that I don't know if I like totally liked it. And then I thought to myself, am I going to be experiencing analysis by paralysis? No, that's backwards. Strike that, reverse it. Let's move on. Paralysis by analysis. So, anyways, one of my buddies he's basically saying, it's a good start. Keep going with it. There's going to be a lot of stuff that gets in the way. I know there's going to be word balloons and things that go in here that are probably going to get in the way of the parts that I'm not, super stoked about. And that this being a dark night scene, there's going to be a lot of black. Sometimes, as an artist, you project that because you put your own work under a microscope, that other people are going to be doing that too. And that's not to say that you shouldn't try to do your best, but there is a point where the damn thing has to get done. And if I can find things in comic book art and other books that I don't necessarily like, or design choices that I don't agree with, I can only imagine that that's going to happen with anybody that reads my book too. So there's just this constant inner struggle between should I be doing 5 different front pages or first pages because I didn't quite like the way this one was going. But I also know that there's always that first work that you do with those drawings that you had when you were a kid, and not to compare this to that, but I know that between the first page of this book and the last page of this book that I'm going to be is the bill of my hat in the way? No. I know that I'm going to be improving in ways that I can't even think about right now, that I'm not even going to be imagining. There's the stuff that I know that I don't like, and by the time I get to further pages down the road, and I'm actually like in a much better rhythm, that's what I like to call it. There's going to be stuff on this page that I don't like, that I didn't even know that I didn't like until I get to the last page that I draw, which is not necessarily the last page of the book. Although I want the last page to be just as, what do you call it? Just as influential as this one. So I don't know if you can see what's happening here. We've got a person who we can probably assume is up to no good down at the bottom, and then we've got another person up at the top who is probably up to less good, but being a, what do you call it? I don't want to say chaotic neutral, our hero, as it were. I'm just doing some textures on the brickwork and trying to get a nice glow here, and then some darkness up here. I might fill some of these bricks in a little bit more as we go up, and add some more darkness. I only need one light source here, and I want to make almost everything else like super mysterious. Most of the tools that I have, and just to give you an idea, Higgins Black Magic, waterproof, archival. I'm pretty sure it's archival. It doesn't say it on the bottle, but I'm almost damn sure it said it on the box. And this is a Mac Tidwell brush. Most of these brushes that I have are used with automotive grade paints. You can use them with anything. I mean, this is a really nice, I believe it's a synthetic, like a Taklon and mix. But I just wanted to be able to cover larger areas with it. I remember being in junior high school, and my really good friends he's the kid that turned me on to Bernie Wrightson stuff. And Bernie Wrightson used to ink with a brush, and damn, in some of those books it would be like almost exclusively. I know I got to have one up here somewhere. I know I've got one here. Freak show. some of these, you can just, pen and ink, of course, but some of this you can just, when you get up close to these, you can just see the brush strokes here. And anyway, so yeah, my good friend Brian, it turned me onto Bernie Wright's and stuff, and his style. Now, I'm not trying to mimic that, but I just remember, that kid coming home with a brush, a white nylon brush. I think he said something like, "This is the brush that Bernie Wrightson would use," and he started going to town on stuff. He's a really talented artist too, but don't know if we ever did anything with it. We wanted to do a comic book when we were in high school. This little thing with, you call it Spaceman Jones, I think, but never did anything with it. But it was always something I wanted to do. And now with, I think my hat is getting in the way. With Indiegogo, and to a lesser degree, Kickstarter, and the Comicsgate movement, I'm like, I would like to be able to dedicate the entire day to this, but I do have a job that I have to go to later, and then there's some other client needs I need to look into before I go. If I was really smart, I would have a piece of paper here, so I don't get this all nasty and dirty. But I just figured I'd do a stream here. This, I gotta say, and for those of you who are in, not doing comics, or you've always wanted to, just based on the feeling that I've been getting from myself, even though this page might not be going exactly the way that I want it to, or all that stuff that I said in the beginning about things that I'd like to fix, but I want to forge ahead. The feeling that I have at this table is almost exactly except for the weather. When I learned how to do airbrush, I remember having that feeling of destiny. This is where I'm supposed to be, with this tool in my hand. Learning all of the frustrating, and it is frustrating when you have to, learn airbrush as fast as I had to. I got thrown into it when I least expected it. I wanted to, but the situation at the job was they needed somebody right away, because they had to get rid of someone, and so they called, and it was in the throes of the season at Cedar Point in the 90s, and I ended up landing this thing. When I say it was destinies, because I originally didn't get the job. So anyways, that's the feeling that I have right here doing this. It feels good in a way that is, I feel spiritually healthy. I don't feel like in some of the projects that I've done in the past. I don't know if you've been following my Twitter feed. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a picture of a mural that I did on a cement tumbler that was tipped on its side to look like a lighthouse, and I did a mural of portraits up there. And while I really liked what I was doing, it's not something that I felt stress behind it. And that probably has something to do with all of the work that I'm doing for somebody else. That feeling that you get when you're doing something that is just for you, and you are allowing yourself to be selfish with your talent. Most of everything that I've done in my art career, so rarely, when you look at the entire body of work, so rarely has any of it been just for me. or they say like the leaky, or the busy plumber always has leaky pipes, or the cobbler's kids never has any shoes because he's always busy doing stuff for other people. But this, where I say to myself, Wednesdays is when everyone shuts up, and this is what is going to speak. Get your cup of coffee or whatever, and you just make the shit happen. It feels so good to allowing myself to be greedy. So anyways, I guess I started the stream because I wanted to convey that. In fact, one of the great things about doing this at a desk where I can just stick a phone or my phone right there if I want to listen to something or watch a movie. I've got a TV up on the wall. I usually listen to something that I've seen before so that I don't have to pay attention to it, or music or whatever. But I love it down here. I love it down here in the basement. I love it down here in steerage. It's real. I mean, I threw the link up to this on Twitter like just a couple of minutes ago. I'm sure it hasn't had time to like percolate or whatever. But I'm just basically just talking to nobody. Anywho, let me get oh yeah, and then this came in. I'm happy about this. Where is it? It just came in and I lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay, right. I had a cheaper version of this that I just it's still in the trash can. I just threw it out the other day. The rollers were all wonky. It kept it wasn't grabbing or anything like this. So this is a little bit more expensive one here. This rolling ruler. I love these things, for doing straight edges and not having to drag a metal ruler over your work and have it get all wonky and whatever. But new favorite tool. This is like something like, I want to say it was like $30. It's only 9 inches long. Yeah, well, yeah, I think basically 10 inches long, whatever. Which is nice because it's it's big enough to span the page here from here to here. It's not going to get in the way and like it's this big sweeping thing that knocks shit over or whatever. But one of the things that, and I know I'm going to be cleaning some stuff up whenever I scan this in, but I wonder if, and part of the reason why I'm doing the page traditionally, I want to do some pages traditionally. I want to do some pages digitally, so that I can experience, all of it. I got some, I'm going to want to do in Procreate, Clip Studio. Man, if I decide to color the damn thing in, I'm sure I'm going to have to, keep all that in mind. But I don't know. This is, what do you want to call it? I guess I'm sharing my sense of, well, like I said it before, my sense of destiny with my friends or whoever decides to listen or watch. Feel with me. I even changed up my signature with all my custom paint stuff. I have a logo that I designed so that it would be like more like a fictitious name, like Identity Crisis Design. It's right there. That's the moniker that I've been using ever since I started. What was it, 2013? I changed some things up. There is a story behind that name, and that has a lot to do with my not being able to settle on you know, one thing or another. You know, you start drawing, you start airbrushing, you start, you know, pinstriping, and now you're going back to, you know, comic books and moving around, and I couldn't think of a good name, and I didn't feel like using my name. I felt like using something that was clever and multi-layered. But one of the things that I just think is like so cool is, you know, like when somebody comes up like a really killer logo, you know, like I always, you know, I mean, thought that out of all of the helmet logos in the NFL, I always thought that the Houston Texans was the smartest. It just made all kinds of sense. It had layers to it, you know. And then when you see the way that the signatures for various artists and comic books and stuff, and how they decide on that diamond shape that EVS uses, or that circular logo that Shane Davis uses, and it just, you know, like sometimes, what is it? Is it McFarlane that puts it in the scroll? Um, so I started signing my name, like my actual, you know, name on there. You know, why not? Be proud and set yourself apart. So that's going to be something. But yeah, man, this feels, it just, you know, it feels so good. And maybe it's one of the things that I never got into this earlier. And I'm gonna have to put some extra lines in there. In fact, rinse this brush out. And I don't have a ton of time to spend on this today. Like I said, it's supposed to be comic book day, but really, any amount of time when I'm on night shift, my wife is at work, my daughter's at school. I had to run her around yesterday to some appointments and then go vote. But if I can, you know, get some other, I've got some big projects coming down the pike too that's really going to interrupt this process. But anytime that I can get on this, I want to take it, get it to a point where I can scan it in. I want to do, like, you know, one complete page, know what all the steps are involved, and then I can decide exactly how I want to break down, how I want to break the process down for doing multiples, you know, pencil 4 pages, ink 4 pages, or who knows, you know, maybe it just turns into a thing where I feel like inking today and there's a page that needs inked, or I feel like penciling today because I've got some great idea came to me in the shower, and this is how I want this shot to set up. It's, you know, I've got all these layouts here, and stuff has been scripted. And I cannot forget to make sure that anybody who's going to be following this process, none of this happens without the bones, the great writing help that I got from Julius Freeman, who produced and sold and campaigned and put out a successful book. He put out the Ghetto Dragon. It should. I want to make sure, you know, this is this is a team effort, and Julius was an integral. And is it integral or integral? Integral. Integral part of a part of the creative process. You know, I say a lot of times when it comes to, you know, coming up with ideas, sometimes you're the ball and sometimes you're the wall, meaning, you know, you might have some sort of an idea on how to solve a specific problem, whether it's, you know, coding or writing, or, you know, could be anything. How do I fix this, or whatever? You know, see, those lines don't need to be there. Those two, talking and drawing, that's what I get. And you know, sometimes, man, Julius would come with just a killer idea, and then sometimes all he had to do was like sit there and listen to me try to work something out, and then it would just it would occur to me. I don't know if anybody's ever been through that, and maybe you know, maybe it's a coffee thing, but because I know you do a lot of talking and a lot of figuring and stuff when you're on that stuff. It's coffee, the big lie. But you just kind of ramble on, and then you know, you hear yourself say something, and it gives you, you get your own idea, but it just doesn't happen unless there's somebody on the other line, listening for some reason. That's what makes all the difference. Yeah, I'm getting confused here now. I get, where's these bricks going? That's going to be on the head. That's going to be, so here, it's going to be behind this railing. I don't know. Anyways, I know there's going to be some cleanup in Photoshop. I think it's going to be or Clip Studio, or wherever the cleanup happens. But I just want to get far enough to where I can feel comfortable about stopping. I'm more like, this is all the part of all this has to do with not just the composition of the page, but the way that the lighting and the balance of that works out. And I know that that's going to be just one of those things that comes with doing. I am what I would consider to be hyper aware of the things of what my soft points are, and some of those are color and color composition. I mean, the technical aspects of drawing never seem to bother me much. Learning anatomy, some angles can be challenging. This among them. I understand perspective as far as achieving it, but it's, I guess what I'm looking forward to the part of this process where like after I was airbrushing for a while and really learning the different attitudes of the different paints and colors and air pressure and all the different components that go into making an airbrush feel right, or when you're pinstriping and there's a certain paint consistency, and there's after a while you'll end up with a it'll click, you'll pick it up one day and everything will just feel right. And I'm looking forward to the day that happens with this. I just put these bookshelves up right in front of me here. Let's see if I can if this will let me do this here. I just put these bookshelves up. So you can see there's a bunch of how to draw comic books, and they're all kind of the same book, really. Frazetta and some reference material, and so that I can just like reach up and grab whatever reference books. And one of them that I got at the museum was this. And check that out. The man, the myth, the legend. Some of this stuff, like I've seen some of these drawings before, but the way that he'd work out a color study in watercolor, and whenever I looked at the paintings that he was doing, it's like you don't see all of this thought often that's going along with this, and actually writing down the idea for the book, and having just these scribbly pen drawings and all this. Like sometimes I wonder if if I want the artwork that I'm doing to, when I'm done with it, feel like it was effortless. And one of the things that I love about Frazetta's work is that whenever you're looking at it, it looks like it just poured out of him. That everything turned out perfect the first time, and which I've often told my customers, professional isn't getting it right the first time, that's making it look like you did. Doing all this preliminary work is all about that. But even with his character sketch, or his what do you want to call them, his gestures, even with his gestures, it looks like he's just has this born with, and I know he wasn't, nobody is, this, but this, it looks like he's got this born with it understanding of proportion, because because he's doing it all the time, it just flows out of the pen. When I see Ethan, when I see EVS doing his pages, and he goes right from blue line work to inks, I don't even know if that's something that I would want to do myself, only because I love the way uninked pencils looks. I don't always want the stuff to stay that way, but it's got its own texture, it's got its own feel to it. Where's that pen? I just had it. And I do, like, my screensavers on my computer is just a bunch of different pencils from a bunch of different artists and on books and stuff, and I don't know, just one of those things that I really dug. So, anyways, let's see if I can sneak this in here. I'm actually doing it right now. The character that I've got here goes by the name, goes by the moniker of Meat Hook. This is not a name that he gave himself. This is something that it just kind of attaches to him because somebody says it, and it sticks. Clearly, we're talking about a character like any other who does not want to be seen, barely noticed. You know, it's like the reason why he has a mask on isn't to protect his loved ones, basically. Protecting his identity has more to do, a lot more to do with evidence that he has. And if anybody knew who it was that was holding on to this stuff, the jig would be up. I think that's how you say it. I hope I'm not saying something that's going to get me canceled. The game would no longer be afoot. And that's why we're working with a mask and a costume. It's got a very specific set of weapons, not limited to, but they are what we would consider favorites. Let's see. I'm just making sure I got my. I'm trying to display where this light direction is coming from the bottom, and in every way possible. I don't want to have just a dark black figure here, but I do want to make it more mysterious, at least in this first page. I don't want I don't want anyone to see exactly what's happening just yet. So, anyways, I have no idea how many tangents. It's another reason why I called it Identity Crisis, man. I'm telling you, I know it's got to be something in my DNA or what I had for breakfast. But I do have this tendency to go off on tangents. I hope there was no one on it. Like, if I started telling a story or started making a point and never got to it, I may never get to it. Conversely, there may be some things that I will talk about 2 or 3 times, forgetting that I already talked about them. Kind of like an uncle, my Uncle Bill, always the same joke, over and over every time you saw him. But anyways, 3 o'clock, I have to go take care of stuff. I don't want to leave. It is definitely a have to, don't want to. But I'll see if maybe the next time I start getting moving on this, and maybe hopefully I'll be able to finish it up later tonight. I'm looking forward to it. So like and subscribe, man. Gently caress the like button and feed it a snack. Scratch its ass. I'm describing the like button very much like my dog upstairs. Those are the things he cares about. care for the like button. Feed it, water it, maybe give it a whole egg with its food. It likes that. And subscribe. Make sure you check out Ghetto Dragon on Indiegogo. We'll have this up soon enough. I'm not going to do anything without at least educating myself on the best way to do that, and that includes running the campaign. So thanks for sticking around. I got to go make myself suitable for public consumption and psych myself up for an 8-hour work night. I will talk to you cats later. Peace out.